and welcome everyone to Health is the Best Investment podcast. Today we have a very special guest, and before I disclose that, let me let you know, let's put everything away, sit back, and listen in. This is truly going to be life-changing because today I have the privilege of introducing someone who embodies resilience and is an encourager. Her name is Ginger. Like so many, Ginger has been on a journey with her weight, one filled with ups and downs and moments of self discovery. But what makes her story truly powerful isn't just the challenges she faced, it's the strengths she found in sharing them. Ginger is here today to open and be vulnerable and be real. She's not just telling her story, she's offering a guiding light to anyone who has ever felt lost in their own health and wellness journey. Her honesty is a gift, and her experience is one so many can relate to. So please, let's welcome Ginger to the show as we explore her journey, the lessons she learned, and the hope she brings to those walking a similar path. Ginger, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right. So, Ginger, tell us, how was your day today?
I had a great day today. I always have a great day because I get to spend it with my patients, my
Yeah.
bariatric patients.
So, what do you do with pediatric patients these days?
Well, I'm the bariatric clinical coordinator and I educate my patients. I do support groups with my patients. And also I educate staff so they know how to take care of our bariatric patients.
Wonderful. Now, tell me, is it bariatric patients, meaning only the ones who have had surgery, or even before surgery, they can come to your support group?
Oh, they can come to support group anytime. A lot of them come beforehand and then
Mhm.
come after. And I do a Zoom and an in-person support group. And
Okay.
so I do have patients that come to both because it
Mhm.
gets them set and ready for the next month.
Wow. That sounds very encouraging. I think support system is so important when we go through this journey. And I think it's a good idea that people get to see what happens when they go through this process ahead of time before they jump in it.
That's
Because
right.
there's so much fear around surgery, and that that's definitely something that we want to talk
I
about
have to
today.
peel them off the ceiling sometimes before surgery because they're really, really nervous. But
So
if they
true.
weren't nervous, I would think you don't know what you're getting into because it
Hmm.
is scary. It's surgery, you're changing
Hmm.
your anatomy.
Hmm. So tell us a little bit about your journey, Ginger. When did you start thinking about weight issues, or when did it occur to you in your life that this is a problem? Was it since childhood or was it in
It,
adult life? When was it?
I can, as far back as I can remember, I think I was about 6 when I remember being different than the other kids. I was overweight. And I've been on a diet since I was 11. And
Um,
diets didn't work for me. I mean, I could lose 100 pounds in six months, but I felt like I was starving. I didn't have a full switch. I felt different than everybody else. And so I would gain the weight back plus more every single time.
mhm.
And it's hard as a child when everybody else is eating candy and all this kind of stuff, and you can't have it, you
That's so
know?
true. That's so true. It's very hard for a child to not do what their peers are doing. Yeah. So if you started your weight loss journey at 11 and tried different diets, and you said that you did kind of go up and down with your weight, when was the time that you thought that, okay, I need to do something different? Or was it bothering you
Oh, yeah.
physically, medically, emotionally? I mean, could you kind of tell us a little bit about that?
I didn't have any comorbidities yet, but as I got older, I knew I would because I was 40 when I decided that I was going to have surgery. And my dad was a diabetic. He had hypertension. My mom had hypertension. I knew it was coming. It was only a matter of time if I didn't lose weight. And I was afraid that if I didn't lose the weight, being 400 pounds, your body cannot survive forever.
Mhm.
It works so hard just for you to walk around. And I wanted to see my kids grow up, and
Mhm.
I wanted grandchildren. I wanted to be
Yeah,
there for them,
right.
and I also wanted to enjoy life because
Hmm.
at 400 pounds, I was so limited at things that I could do. We would go on vacation. My family would go whitewater rafting, horseback riding, biking, and I had to stay back because I couldn't do it. You know,
Mm.
And so I really looked forward to one day being able to do all those things that I couldn't do. So instead of watching life go by, actually living life to the
Hmm.
fullest. And
Hmm.
that's what I do now.
Wonderful. That's a happy ending. Love that story. Hey, so can I dive deep a little bit and try to ask, so at what age did you feel like, or did you know that you were at 400 pounds and you had to do something?
I
When
was
did it
40.
click? You
I
were
was
40.
40 when I
Hmm.
decided to have surgery. I
Okay.
knew about the surgery 2 years prior. I had a friend that had the surgery, but I was afraid,
Hmm.
and finally I went with him to a support group. And when
Hmm.
I went to the support group, I saw that these people were me, and
Oh.
it happened to be a reunion where they were having the pictures, when they were obese up on the
Hmm.
screen. And then
Hmm.
that person would walk up there
Hmm.
and I started crying. I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this
Oh.
this particular woman, she was exactly me. She was
Hmm.
400 pounds. She had lost all of her weight, and
Hmm.
I was like, I want that. I want that for me. I want to be healthy. I want to be able to do things."
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that must be a tremendous desire at that point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Now,
had
did
failed. I failed at every diet I had ever been on my entire life. I mean, miserably. And
hmm.
I always tell the patients, I said, I dieted myself to 400 pounds because I'd lose weight, gain back more, plus more every time.
Hmm. Oh,
And it
okay.
was just so, I felt like a failure. And so
Hmm.
when I had the surgery, I put it out there. I let everybody know I was having the surgery because I wanted to be accountable and I did not want to fail this time. And luckily, I
Very
didn't.
good. Yeah, that's excellent. So good. Now, did you try any medications before you went into surgery,
Mhm.
or did you
Yeah,
try
I
diet?
did.
Oh, you did.
I
Okay.
was on phentermine.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on it 6 months, and that's one of the times I lost 100 pounds in 6 months.
Oh,
But
wow.
I felt like it changed my personality. I
Mm-hmm.
was very angry on it. I felt
Mm-hmm.
aggressive and angry, and just I didn't feel like me. And
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't go back on it after the 6 months because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the way it made me feel.
All right. Huh. So again, some medications agree with some people and they may not agree with others. And
That's true.
yeah.
I know people who take it and are perfectly fine. It
Mm-hmm.
just didn't do that for me. But I'm kind of sensitive to medications anyway, in
Mm-hmm.
general.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when you made that decision, did you kind of go to support groups or what kind of help did you get before you thought that you were going to jump into surgery?
Well, my friend who had the surgery, he was kind of
Mm-hmm.
my buddy,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I did go to support group, and I went to many support groups prior to having my surgery because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to learn everything I possibly could learn about having surgery and
Mm-hmm.
how to be successful at it. And you
Mm-hmm.
learn that in support
Mm-hmm.
group because they have speakers, and in my support group, I have speakers too. We have
Mm-hmm.
therapists because the surgeons only take care of the physical part. We've got
Mm-hmm.
to take care of the mental part, and there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of mental part in it when you're losing
Right.
weight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So support group and your friends kind of, friend helped you to kind of go through that process.
Mhm.
Now, were you afraid that you wouldn't be able to eat a lot after surgery? Did that kind of bother you in any way?
No, I was looking forward to that. Actually, I didn't really realize how little you ate right after surgery. And I
Mhm.
educate my patients. They didn't have someone like me that educate patients when I had my surgery. It was
Mhm.
24 years ago, so they
Mhm.
didn't have that. And I
Yeah.
do a pre-op class, a discharge class in the hospital, and I tell them
Mhm.
exactly what it's going to be like.
Mhm.
How you can only eat like 2 to 3 ounces
Mhm.
every 3 hours. I mean, and when I had my surgery, I could only eat 2 ounces, but I
Mhm.
was full. I was satisfied. I didn't need anymore,
Mhm.
because I
I
was
think
in
that
my honeymoon stage.
right. And I think that feeling of fullness was what you were looking for, and that's what you were not
Yes,
getting before the
exactly.
surgery. Wow. Yeah. I think that can make a lot of difference. When you feel full, then you're not going to go for more. But if you never feel full, I mean, yeah, that is a very difficult situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and when you're dieting, you feel like you're starving because you're
Hmm.
limiting so much, and
Hmm.
it just it was a nightmare, dieting my whole life.
Hmm.
And I don't diet anymore. I eat healthy. I
Hmm.
exercise.
Hmm.
Not to say that after weight loss, surgery, you can't gain weight. And I'm
Hmm.
24 years out, so I can gain weight.
Mm-hmm.
And also I'm 64 now. So
Mm-hmm.
I have
Mm-hmm.
to, my metabolism is different. And
That's
so
right.
I have
Mm-hmm.
to change even more things to be able to, if I gain weight, to get it off.
Okay. Now let's see. So you started at 400 pounds at 40. So when you had the surgery, how much weight did you lose and how long did it take?
255 pounds. And I lost it all in the first year.
Wow.
I worked really, really hard. And I tell my patients, they have my Fitness Pal, they've got Bariatastic, they've got all these apps. I had a little calorie book. There wasn't even Google back then, you know. I had
That's
a little
true.
calorie book and a little journal, and I had to list everything in it. But my goal was to get to my goal weight before my honeymoon stage was over, which is 12 to 18 months. And I
Mm-hmm.
got to my goal in a year. But
Mm-hmm.
I worked really, really hard.
Wow. I thought, when you said initially, I thought when you said 255, I thought, did you mistaken and say 155?
Now I lost
You,
255 pounds.
you did lose 250 pounds, 55 pounds. Oh my goodness gracious. And in a year, that was taken care of.
Yep.
Wow.
And
And
then the hard part starts, the maintenance, you know.
mm-hmm.
But since I have a full switch, that's what I call my surgery, the gastric bypass. Since I have a
Mm-hmm.
full switch, it's so much easier because I can't sit down at one time and overeat. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
could graze all day long if I wanted to, but I can't overeat, all at one time. So that tool is exactly what I needed
Mm-hmm.
to help me, and it's what's helped me over all these years.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds exciting. So from 400 pounds, you went down to what number?
I went down to lower than I am now. I was about 150 pounds. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what's 250 after 400 minus 255? That's
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
was.
150, yes.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
around 150. But for my age, I looked frail and too thin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I now where I am within 15 pounds or so is where
Mm-hmm.
I like to be.
Mm-hmm. So that's more comfortable, or that's what your best weight is, you call
Yeah,
it.
because I don't
Mhm.
look gaunt, and I looked really gaunt before.
Yeah.
Hollow, my cheeks were real hollow, and my
Mm-hmm.
bones were sticking out, and my neck, and I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
looked because I'm 5'7" and I'm big boned.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that was, even though that probably was my ideal BMI, it didn't look
Mm-hmm.
good on me.
That's right. Yeah, I think, and BMI, I think has its own shortfalls. We
Hmm.
cannot always depend on BMI. And I do notice that, yeah, people when they lose or go down to the lowest weight, they do gain 5 to 10% and kind of
Yes.
stay there. Did that happen to you as well? Something
Yes,
similar?
that's pretty normal. A lot of people do
Mm-hmm.
that. I've
Mm-hmm.
noticed in my support group too, that's what happens.
Mm-hmm. And then you can stay at that weight pretty much for a long time as
Hmm.
you kind of maintain all the, disciplines that come with it.
Right.
Now, during this whole process, after you lost weight, after that honeymoon period of 18 months or 2 years, how was the journey after that? How did that look like for you?
Um, it was exciting because I could finally do things, I had not ridden a bike since I was a kid. And
Oh,
I remember the first time we loaded all the bikes up and my girlfriends and their kids and everything, and we went to the Silver Comet Trail. And I remember I was so wobbly on it because I hadn't ridden one in a long, long time. And it was
wow.
really funny because I'm crossing the road and there's these big yellow metal poles there. And I'm trying not to hit the metal pole. Sure enough, I run straight into it and fall off my bike.
Oh my goodness.
But you know what? At this weight,
Well,
it didn't hurt as bad as if I was 400 pounds hitting the ground.
you're so right. You're so right.
And
Eh,
but I laugh at myself when I do silly things like that, but because
mhm,
it's fun. I mean,
mhm,
there's nothing I can't do in this 64-year-old body now, which is amazing. I
mhm,
feel younger than I am because I'm doing things that my friends my age are not doing. You
mhm,
know,
mhm.
I
Yeah,
jumped out of a plane 3 times. I went hot air ballooning last year. I travel. I love to travel, and I don't have to ask for a seatbelt extender.
that's a
It's
win.
yeah, that's a non-scale victory that a lot of my patients really enjoy.
Hmm. Now, how was your relationship with family and friends at that time? What did you think about, or what did they think about you at that point after you had surgery?
Well, um, because I started putting myself first, finally, for the first time in my life, I was going to exercise. I would go to jazzercise or the gym or whatever. And I never my whole entire life, I never put me first, never. Everybody else always came before me. And I've talked to a lot of my female patients. They're the same way. And there was a little bit of a problem in my family. I had two teenagers and I had a husband. Everybody could cook. But, if mom wasn't home to cook dinner that night, they just got, they didn't know how to react to me because
Mm-hmm.
finally I'm getting off work and I am going to work out no matter
Mm-hmm.
what. And then I'm coming home.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had a little hard time with that because they weren't used to me taking
Mm-hmm.
care of me.
Mm-hmm.
I was always
Mm-hmm.
taking care of everybody else.
Right.
And it took a while for them to get that. And also,
Mm-hmm.
before, I thought when I was obese, I thought that I had to do everything for everyone, for anybody to love me. I had to do
Mm-hmm.
everything. Otherwise, they wouldn't love me. And
Mm-hmm.
so, after I lost weight, I realized I don't have to do that. You
Mm-hmm.
either love me or you don't love me. And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't, it's none of my business, you know? And
That's right.
and I do things for people all the time, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like I don't feel like I have to do it though. And I felt
Mm-hmm.
like I had to before.
Mm-hmm.
I learned to love me. It took a while to learn
Mm-hmm.
to love me. And when you
Mm-hmm.
love yourself, you do put yourself first and
Mm-hmm.
you have to take care of yourself.
Wow. Yeah, that's a big mind shift
Hmm.
to think about. You think about it like that. I mean, as a mother, yeah, obviously we always think about kids, work, husband, family. That's so true. And would you share any interactions or how you kind of had, how did you deal with things at work or with friends? What did they think about you when you had surgery? Were they acceptable to you, or did they kind of have, a lot of people say, oh, you had the shortcut way or you cheated. What
Yeah,
happened?
they're like, you took the easy way out. No, there was nothing easy about what I did. I had
Mm-hmm.
major surgery, and back then it wasn't laparoscopically done; it was done open.
Open. Mm-hmm.
But I did have a group. There was 8 women. We did things. Our families did things together all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I was the biggest of the 8 women.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was no longer the biggest, and the person that was then, she came to me and she told me, she said, I had a I had a really hard time when I'm the biggest now. And she goes, I just wanted to tell you, she goes, I love you and I want you to do what you're doing. She goes, but I just wanted to let you know I was just having a little bit of a hard time. And
Mm-hmm.
some people don't um they don't encourage you like they probably should, especially I had to divorce people. I
Mm-hmm.
had a best friend, and the best friend, she loved me when I was 400 pounds because she looked good beside me. But when I was no
Mm-hmm.
longer 400 pounds, I was getting attention, and she didn't like it, and she was being mean to me, and she would even make me cry because she was being so mean to me. And finally, I just said, you know what? And she would talk about me too, and people just they get jealous. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why. And
Mm-hmm.
so finally, I was just like, you know what? Friends lift each other up. Friends inspire each other. Friends
Mm-hmm.
don't push each other down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what she was doing. And I told her, I said, I'm done. I'm
Mm-hmm.
divorcing you. And I told patients too that in support group that if you have somebody like that, they're not really your friend. If they treat you like that, they treat you poorly, they're not your
Mm-hmm.
friend. And you don't have to put up with it. And I
Mm-hmm.
knew I didn't. And so I just said, I'm done. This relationship is dissolved.
Oh wow.
And it was.
That was a very strong step. I'm so glad that you took
Yeah.
that step for yourself, Ginger. That is encouraging. I'm sure there are a lot of people that go through similar situations all the time, and it is very hard for them to stand up for themselves.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
So
sometimes it's family they're standing up against too. It's sad that
mm-hmm.
people can't just encourage each other and
Mm-hmm.
respect each other and, like
Mm-hmm.
I said, lift each other up.
Mm-hmm.
And because it makes I give compliments all the time. I don't. Some people think if you give a compliment, it's taking away from something from you.
Oh.
I don't believe that. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that if you see something in somebody, you should tell them
Mm-hmm.
because it might just make their day. It might be
Exactly.
the only thing that week they've heard nice or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about encouraging people and complimenting people and especially women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's the best part about what I do is because at
Mhm.
support group, I get to see my patients blossom and they're
Mm,
doing all the things they always wanted to do that they couldn't do before. And
right.
I know what it feels like. And it's just amazing. It's just, I am blessed to do what I do.
Well, I think that's so nice, Ginger. You put it in a very nice way. And I think your patients are going to be blessed as well, just to learn from you, somebody who's kind of gone through that path, has suffered all those ups and downs, those challenges, being belittled or not getting the support you needed. I think they're learning from the best or hearing from the best. I think your patients are really blessed to have you in that
Thank
support
you.
group.
And I always tell them the only thing standing in your way is you,
Mm-hmm.
because I had my surgery when I was 40. I wasn't a nurse. I went back to
Mm.
school at 49 to be a nurse. I
Wow.
prayed for the hospital that I work at, and I prayed for the bariatric unit, and God gave me everything I prayed for. And then I worked on the unit for many years and then went back to school again for this position. And I plan on retiring when I'm about 70. I love what I do.
I can totally see that passion in you, Ginger. I'm sure. I mean, I think you should start recording yourself and allow people to listen to you. This is so awesome. I'm so glad my audience is able to hear you and take some encouragement, motivation from you. And let's say if somebody wants to kind of listen in or join your Zoom call, how do they reach you?
They can go on, we're allowed to say the hospital's name here, right?
You could.
Okay.
You could tell
They
us.
just
That's fine.
they just go on Northside Hospital and go
Mm-hmm.
on the website there to Atlanta. It's
Mm-hmm.
got the Zoom link. It also has the dates of all my in-person support groups.
Oh,
And my
wonderful.
in-person support groups are on a Saturday from 10 to 12, and it's free
Mm-hmm.
parking too. And it's in the 980 building on Johnson's Ferry Road.
Mm-hmm.
And my Zoom is on a Thursday night from 5:45 to 6:45. But I always tell my post-op patients, especially, to come to the in-person. I have speakers, and
Mm-hmm.
they have to fill their imaginary toolbox with all the tools they need for this journey for the rest of their life. And it is a journey. I
Mm-hmm.
can tell you for sure there's been ups and there's been downs over the 24 years.
Wow. I think, if you don't mind, Ginger, I think I would like to put that link in the comments below after the video. That way
Sure.
people can access just in case they wanted to reach out or be part of that group. Because I think having a support group is such an important thing
Oh, it
for
is.
people.
Well, there's evidence-based research that patients who go to support group prior to surgery and continue going have the
Mm-hmm.
best outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm proof. I've either gone to a support group or facilitated one over all these years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the problem is, though, sometimes people start gaining weight and they
Mm-hmm.
stop coming to support group and support groups where they need to be when they're gaining weight because you need that help. You need all your other buddies that are doing the same walk that you're doing that can help you and encourage you and know that there's nothing wrong with you. You are not a failure. And this is the thing because I've gained weight before, and you and I were discussing that.
Mm-hmm.
My dad died in 2023. My mom died suddenly in 2024 in
Mm-hmm.
March, and I used food for comfort, and I
Mm-hmm.
gained 20 pounds. And so, being in my 60s, getting it off was a lot harder because my metabolism is slower. But I'm down now 14 pounds. And now I decided I'm going to lose another 20. So, to put me a little below where I want to be. But this is the thing I tell my patients, don't beat yourself up because you gained 20 pounds. And I have to tell myself that too. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not 400 pounds. I only gained 20 pounds. But
Mm-hmm.
we tend to just beat ourselves up and just play that head game. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
I always say, I have to get my head back on straight. Got my head
Mm-hmm.
back on straight, and I'm getting it
Mm-hmm.
off. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because my
Wonderful.
tool does work.
So you still feel the restriction when you eat,
Oh, yes.
even after 24 years?
Oh, yes.
Wonderful. That's great. So if you don't mind, Ginger, I'm going to share your picture
Sure.
for our audience here so they can see what you have gone through.
I wear the 400-pound picture on my badge at work.
Oh, wow. That's a great incre Oh my goodness. Ginger, you look so awesome after you lost weight. Look at that. And you look pretty with those curly hair. Did your curls change to straight hair
My
over
hair's
time?
wavy.
Oh, okay.
If I don't blow dry it out
Uh-huh.
and flat, you use the flattener, it's curly. It's wavy, not curly.
Really? Okay. I mean, your hair's grown quite a bit here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love that too. It's awesome. You look so confident and smiling and all that stuff.
Well, I'm
It's
happy. And
mm-hmm.
so I think when you are really truly happy, it shows.
Mm-hmm. You're so right. You're so right. All right, Ginger. So I mean, did you feel like any time in that 24 years, did you ever feel like you gained weight again, or did you have to struggle very hard to keep that weight off? Or did you have a time when you have to be when you gain like, okay, 50 pounds, now what do I have to do? Do I have to take medication? Did you kind of go through any of that?
Yeah, during COVID, COVID was really scary working in the hospital. I mean, nobody really knew what was going on. And
Mm-hmm.
again, I am an emotional eater. I am a comfort eater, all that. And that's how I am here. They only did surgery on my stomach, they didn't do surgery here. And so during COVID, I gained 50 pounds during COVID. And
Okay.
I didn't go on any medication or anything. I just got myself, I put myself first again. And I decided, okay, I've got to do this. And I
Mm-hmm.
just buckled down and did what I knew what to do. I
Mm-hmm.
just had to do it. And then once you get it going, it just kind of, then it gets easier. Just like
Mm-hmm.
walking. I love to walk outside. But if
Mm-hmm.
you don't walk for a little while, it's hard to get back into the walk the first time. But once I get in there the first time, it's like, okay, I'm doing it every day. I've walked 4 times this week. It's been
Oh,
beautiful this week.
wonderful. Wonderful. Now, when you cannot go outside, what do you do for exercise?
I have weights and
Mm-hmm.
I'll put something on YouTube and do
Mm-hmm.
weights.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's kind of easy.
Yeah.
So you can just go to
But my
YouTube
favorite
and
thing is
do.
walking.
Yeah, walking is always best. And in nature, it even feels better.
Mhm.
It's a super beautiful day, sunlight, and all that good stuff. Wonderful.
Well, and we do 5Ks too
Mm-hmm.
with my patients. We
Mm-hmm.
actually did the hot chocolate run this past Sunday. It
Oh,
was a not I had patients that ran 9 miles. My patients ran 9 miles. Okay. And then we
wonderful.
had people doing the 5K. I walked it. I did the 5K. I don't run, but
Mm-hmm.
I walk and I walked with several people. And it was just so much fun. We try to do those a few times a year, but I do have patients that I just get so excited about them. I've got one patient that's doing triathlons, and you need to
Wow.
interview him. I'll hook you
Oh,
up with him, okay?
oh,
He didn't even know
definitely.
how to swim. He had to learn how to swim to do triathlons.
Wow.
I'm just so proud of him. And he's one of the ones that's running the marathons now, too.
Wow. My goodness, that is so motivating. Wow. It's
And he's
truly
not a,
life-changing.
it is. And he's later in life, too. It's not like he's in his 20s or 30s. And he said, I never knew I could do this before. And
Mm-hmm.
he's amazing. His wife is too.
Oh,
I
wow.
walked with his wife.
Oh, wow. So you had company. That's good. That's good. So, what would you tell our audience again about non-scale victories? Because some people, I feel like they kind of stay hooked onto that scale so much that sometimes when they plateau, they get discouraged. Did
Mhm.
that happen to you? And how did you overcome that fear of plateau?
Well, I did plateau that year. And what I figured out was your body's like a machine. I'm pretty boring. I'll eat the same thing, for breakfast or whatever for a long time or do the same exercises. And then
Mm-hmm.
I realized I've got to trick my body. So
Mm-hmm.
I would change things around, the food around. I would eat lunch food for breakfast or whatever. I did that last week too. Instead of
Mm-hmm.
eating eggs in the morning, I had leftover chicken fajitas, with no
Mm.
tortilla, just the meat and the vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
And also the exercise. You've got to switch the exercise up. You've got to
Mm-hmm.
change it, do something different, trick your body so you start losing again. But I
Mm-hmm.
also tell my patients, take your measurements because sometimes the scale may not be moving, but you're going to be losing inches. And they can
Mm-hmm.
tell in their clothes, but if you take your measurements and keep a log of that, it really shows you. And by the time when I went from 400 pounds to a normal weight, I went through lots of inches. It was
Wow.
unbelievable.
Wow. Yeah. That's exciting. I think I do hear that quite a bit from my patients as well. When they come in, they're like, they go into a plateau and they get discouraged and they stop it. They think it's not working. They give up. So you're so right. I always tell them, yeah, let's look at the inches. If you're losing inches, that means you have gained muscle, you've lost fat weight. If you lose 10 pounds of fat weight, gain 10 pounds of muscle, your scale is not going to show a difference.
Exactly.
But your clothes are going to tell something. That means your body's still changing. And true plateaus can happen where you don't change weight or inches, and your body kind of takes some time to think about it, that you're losing weight, and it's confused. Why all of a sudden from a certain weight you started dropping? And then it kicks in that survival mode. We call it
Mhm.
metabolic adaptation to kind of prevent or protect you at that phase. And then once it understands that you're still getting nutrition, then it allows you to continue to lose weight. So that's more like a physiologic plateau. And I think it can last anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks. And if you kind of reassess and see where you are and what you did and continue doing the right things, you're good. Unless some things are sneaking in. Holidays come, a lot of people plateau or
Right.
gain and then start losing again. That happens. The true plateau can last anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks.
Well,
So
and
that's
sometimes
really
they're
good.
not tracking. They're not tracking
Mhm,
what they're eating and drinking. So they don't,
mhm,
they think they're keeping track of it, but they're not really. And maybe they're eating something they shouldn't really be eating. So if they're tracking, they can take, I always tell them, take it to the dietitian, let
mhm,
them look at it. Maybe you need to, and the funny part is, people eat so many carbs that I notice. I mean, I was talking to a patient the other day and he told me, he goes, yeah, I had beans and then next meal I had rice. I had, he was saying all these carbs and
mhm,
he was early out. I'm like, where's your protein? I want you to
mhm,
focus on your protein because we
mhm.
always eat our protein first. And
You're
there's
right.
hidden carbs in everything.
Mm-hmm. That's so right. Yeah, that's what I say. I think, changing your religion may be easy, but it's very hard to change that food culture that you grew up with.
That's right.
Finishing your plate or eating the same things that you're used to eating, and you automatically go to that same old food. Yeah, that's so true.
Well, and also, grandma said that when
Mm-hmm.
your stomach growled, you were hungry. No, that means your
Mm-hmm.
stomach's working. Okay. And mine
Mm-hmm.
growls all the time. And I tell my patients, they'll say, I'm hungry. I'm like, how do you know? My stomach's growling. It's working.
It's working. It's not growling. It's not hunger. It's
No,
growling. Yes. That's a good way to put it. So, Chicha, what would you tell our listeners? Any final thoughts, or what would you advise our listeners? Let's say if they're in their journey, what would you say avoid in their journey about certain things that you could have come across?
I tell my patients prior to surgery to get off caffeine, carbonation, and sugar
Hmm.
because when you're going through surgery, you're not going to have any of those things. And sometimes you have withdrawals and you're
Hmm.
you're healing and then you're having headaches and all that. So I'm
Hmm.
always telling them get off of all that stuff ahead of time. And they all of them go on a low carb diet because we got to shrink their liver, with
Hmm.
a low
Hmm.
carb diet. So that does help too. But I want them to educate themselves on what surgery they're having,
Hmm.
know the ins and outs of it, know how it's going to be to live with it.
Hmm.
Because I have patients who say, well, I'm going to go to my surgeon and he's going to tell me what surgery I'm going to have. I'm like, no, no, no.
Hmm.
You educate yourself so that you can make an educated decision about what you're going to have. Because again, nobody's living with this gastric bypass but me. I'm living with this. I know,
Hmm.
I know the ins and outs of it and all
Hmm.
that. But just
Hmm.
like we do sleeves, we do gastric bypass, we do it on a switch, and we do the SADS. But
Hmm.
I'm always saying, don't just find out what is contraindicated for whatever surgery that you're having. Maybe you don't want to have that surgery because of that, or
Hmm. Hmm.
whatever. But really educating themselves and going to support group so that they
Hmm.
can prepare themselves for
Hmm.
for this big journey. I mean, it
Hmm.
is a big journey.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's so right. You nailed it. Caffeine is a big kicker, and a lot of times I've seen people go through those withdrawal headaches, or even sugar, the
Mhm.
hypoglycemia, or the reactive hypoglycemia that keeps happening. So, and smoking, you're right. Smoking, alcohol, all those things can affect. So, coming off of them early on and having that settlement with yourself before you go into surgery is a great idea. All right. Um, So what are your final thoughts? What message or words of encouragement do you have for our audience, Ginger? You've been awesome and you shared a whole lot of your story, and it is real, raw, and vulnerable. And thank you for doing that for our audience. But if you could kind of give us a final message or words of encouragement for our audience, that'd be great and helpful.
Okay. Um, you are worth it. You are worth getting healthy. You need to put everything you can into it so that you can get healthy. because as we age, comorbidities can be you can be really sickly, okay? But also, don't you want a healthier, happier life? I mean, when I was afraid when I had the surgery, I was. Took me 2 years to have it, like I said. But I am so much more happy in this body than I was in that 400-pound body because I watched life go by. I did not live life. And that's what I want for all my patients. I want all the dreams to come true. I want them to do all the things they always wanted to do, all those things that they couldn't do because of the weight. Don't let the weight hold you down. You can get healthy. If I can do it, you can do it. And that's what I tell my patients all the time. It's so worth it. It is a lot of work. Yes, it's a lot of work. Yes, you had surgery. Yes, you're going to be sore after surgery, but it's all worth it because I can't tell you. I mean, I walked 7 miles on Sunday. I couldn't have walked a mile before I had surgery. I mean, I there's just there's no limit to what I can't do, and I'm 64. It just cracks me up sometimes because I feel like I'm kind of going backwards a little bit in what I could do because I just am so happy and I want my patients to be that way too. And one other thing too, I tell patients in support group all the time, it's so funny that when my patients start losing weight, they get smarter.
Hmm.
They get smarter
How is
because
that?
they're all getting promotions and they're all getting better jobs because
Oh.
they got smarter when they lost weight. But the fact is, the bias there is when you're overweight just from being overweight. They think you're lazy. They think you're not very smart. They think all you do is sit around and eat. My patients
Mm-hmm.
are very smart. They work
Mm-hmm.
hard, but they get looked over for promotions. So that's another thing they could look forward to after they lose weight is doing what they want to do. Like me, I wanted to be a nurse. I went back to school at a very late age to be a nurse, but don't stand in your way. Go for it. Go for whatever you want to do. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something because you put it in your head. And another thing too, that fat girl comes out and sits on my shoulder sometimes. She says really mean things to me in my head, things I would never allow anybody else to say to me. But sometimes she does, especially when I went to nursing school. She's like, "You can't do this. Who do you think you are?" And it was like I had to just push her down and get rid of her and prove that I could do it. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
stubborn. So I whatever I set out to do, I usually can do it. And that's what I want to tell everybody. Get healthy. However it is for you, whether it's taking medication or having surgery or whatever it takes, get healthy so you can enjoy the rest of your life. And I just have so many things to look forward to that I didn't have before. And it's just I'm just amazed sometimes. I just want to pinch myself sometimes because I can't believe I'm where I am right now. If you would have told me 24 years ago that I'd be doing what I do right now and being as healthy as I am right now, I would have told you to shut the door, but I would not have believed it. But it's true, and you can have this too.
And I have seen you, Ginger, being active. Oh my goodness. You have so much energy to do all these things at 64. One, you don't even look 64. Until you told me I didn't believe that you were 64.
I am.
And second of all, when you say that, oh my God, back then you couldn't even walk a mile and now you're walking and you just did the 7 mile walk. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So wow, isn't that amazing? Like at 40 you couldn't walk 1 mile and at 64 you're walking 7 miles. It just
I
kind
can
of
walk as far as I want. I mean, I can just keep going. Sometimes I do that. I just get out there and just start walking and I've got music in my ears. I'm
Mhm.
not thinking about anything and the endorphins are being released. And I feel so good and I just take off.
Wow, that sounds so amazing. I mean, after listening to you, I'm sure there are a lot of people who want to hear more or kind of at least come to the support groups and understand a little bit more about the process, whether it be surgery or medications or whatever the option is. And good news is we have everyone, including nutritionists, dietitians,
Mhm.
the support groups, surgeons, medical professionals for weight management, surgical clearance if they needed, or sleep studies if they needed. So I think all those are available under one roof. So it's the best place to be. And you are at the right place, Ginger. Oh my goodness. You're the best at the support groups. And I've visited some of these support groups, and it was so encouraging to see those patients when they come off and after surgery, they're so encouraged to do all these things that they could not do. That's so encouraging. And thank you for being here, Ginger. And
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you sharing your story, personal story with our audience. So
A pleasure.
everyone, thank you. So everyone, this is again Dr. Jyoti Manekar. I am the obesity medicine specialist, and I'm doing this podcast. Health is the best investment. Be sure to join, and also please share with whoever you like, love, and you think they would benefit from this. And if you want to be on the show, please do reach out to me on my website at www.drmanekar.com. It is man, M-A-N, man, and car with the K, connect with the E, Manekar. So drmanekar.com. See you then next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.